Hi, I welcome you all for my video lecture on course Professional Ethics in Engineering. I am Professor CMT Karthikeyan, working for Computer Science and Engineering Department, Government College of Engineering, Bargur. Today, we are going to have a discussion on responsibilities and rights. Responsibilities are nothing but the duties that we are rendering for our professional life or for our personal life. For an instance, in professional life, if we are working for an educational institution, our main responsibility is to take classes for the courses that we have been assigned. In personal life, our main responsibility is to bring out our children as good citizens to our society. Rights. Rights means freedom. Right to speech. Right to speech plays vital role in an organization. This provision should be given to all employees of an organization. This will enable the employees to express or to contribute their ideas for the betterment of an organization. Following are the contents which are relevant with the responsibilities and rights. Collegiality, loyalty, respect for authority, collective bargaining. Collegiality. Collegiality means being friendly with fellow working members in professional life. Every employee or individual should have this collegiality virtue or quality. This makes an individual or an employee to contribute his or her own ideas, to listen to others' ideas, and to come forward to work as a group for achieving the common goal set up by an organization. Loyalty. Loyalty means being truthful to an individual or to an organization. Based on these two senses, loyalty has been categorized as agency loyalty and identification loyalty. Agency loyalty, it is nothing but rendering the contractual duties to the employer for which we have been paid an remuneration. Next one is identification loyalty. It is concerned with attitudes, emotions, and a sense of personal identity. We should see loyalty as a virtue rather than seeing as an obligation. That is, we should have loyalty as our inherent quality rather than performing the loyalty as a duty. Relationship between professional responsibility and loyalty. When the conflict comes between professional responsibility and loyalty, we should always give priority or preference to the professional responsibility. For an instance, a company where you are working for is facing a danger that may affect the lives of the people in and around your organization. In this situation, rather than being loyal to your organization, you should perform an professional responsibility by spreading this news to the public living in and around your organization. Loyalty to companies should not be equated with merely obeying one's immediate supervisors. That is, loyalty doesn't simply stop by just obeying the immediate superiors' actions. It is beyond that. Beyond that, we should perform a professional responsibility. Then we are going to discuss about authority. Authority, so whenever we are hearing about this term, the other term also will strike, that is called as a responsibility. Authority without responsibility and responsibility without authority are meaningless. So as given by this point, decisions can be taken by a few people, but putting into action requires larger participation from different groups of people such as operation, purchase, etc. Which means that decisions can be taken by very few people of an organization, but when we are trying to bring it as an action, it should be done by a group of employees or by the entire group of an organization, right? Okay, so converting the decisions into action is not an easy task. That has to be performed by a person who is having an effective leadership skill or administrative skill. they can only play an authoritative role to drag the work from their subordinates towards achieving the goals of their organization. Clear lines of authority provide a means for identifying areas of personal responsibility and accountability. For example, if we have been assigned a job, we should be accountable for the job for which we should be accountable for the job, which means that we should complete the task successfully, or otherwise if anything occurs, if anything wrong means, we should be held responsible for that wrong happening. So there are two forms of authority. One is an institutional authority, the other one is called as an expert authority. Institutional authority, as the name implies, it is more concerned with the institution or organization. So as I have already told you that the institutional authority cannot be performed by an ineffectual person. It can be performed only by an efficient persons, those who are having an leadership or good administrative skills. That is, they can only exercise the powers to their subordinates and by dragging the work from them towards achieving the mission and vision of an organization. In company's perspective, project managers have institutional duty to make sure that projects are completed successfully. Expert authority. Expert means a person who is specialized in a specific field. For an instance, if a particular educational institution is performing low in research areas, then what that particular institution can do? That educational institution can hire an expert in a research field, and the educational institution can take the advantage of an expert to perform the institution in an advanced manner. So expert means it can be identified by the term called as advisor, experts and consultants. So these expert authorities won't be performing for the long duration. He or she may be performing for some shorter duration or based on the need of a particular organization. So as we have already talked about that authority versus power, that is, who can have an authoritative skill, they can only exercise the power on their subordinates and drag the work from them and achieve the common objective of their organization. Any ineffectual persons cannot perform the authoritative position. Accepting authority. It is from the subordinate side. A subordinate is one who should be ready to accept the job from their superior without thinking about what kind of job it is, how the job could be, whether the job could be a difficult one, those kind of without thinking those kind of things, he or she should be ready to accept the job. That is called as an accepting authority. Paramount obligations. So important duties of any professional engineers. The important duty is to protect the public health, safety and welfare rather than duties of loyalty and faithful service to the employees. So that is that the chief or most important for a professional engineers is, rather than being loyal to their organization, they should give preference to public safety and health. Whenever the obligation to employer and public comes into a conflict, the professional engineer should give preference to obligations to public health. So engineers must weigh their obligations to the public, their employers, their colleagues and others. When conflicts come among these components, engineers should always give or should interest on public health and safety. Collective bargaining. Collective bargaining is nothing but the bargain done by the trade unions for the economic interests of the employees. This is done for the benefit of the employees who are working for an organization or company. Why this collective bargaining is coming into a picture? For an instance, if employees have been underpaid for a longer time, or they have not been provided safety working conditions, then trade unions will come into a picture and they will talk with the employers and convince them so that the employees can be benefited in terms of safety working condition and as well as in remuneration. The collective bargaining starts with negotiation. If doesn't go in favor of employees, then trade unions will declare a strike. It gives a difficult situation for both employers and employees. There exists always conflicting views between the professionalism and unionism. Critics, union critics. So this is the critics points of view about the union. Unions are always encouraging the oppositional approach rather than cooperative and decision making approach with employers, which means that they are always in the oppositional mode while they are going for collective bargaining rather than cooperative mode with the employers. They also remove person-to-person negotiation between employers and employees. And unions encourage unrest and strained relationships between workers and management. These are all the few points of view from the critics side. Union supporters, what they are telling about that means, unions have been the primary factor in creating healthy salaries and the high standard of living enjoyed by today's workers. Yes, it is obviously true. Then second point is they give employees a greater sense of participation in company decision making, which means that rather than allowing the employees to take decisions, unions make employees also to involve in decision making. So unions are a healthy balance to the power of employers to fire at will. Unions yield stability by providing an effective grievance procedure for employee complaints. These are all the positive points from the supporters' view. This is the bibliography, the textbook and reference books I have followed for this presentation. Thank you for your patient listening.